Life insurance has changed a lot. If you relate it to a cell phone, do you remember back in the day we used to actually make calls with our cell phones? And now today it's one of the least things that we do. It's not even in the top 10 anymore. Well, the same is true for life insurance as well, in that most of life insurance is actually used while you're alive. And if you're new to the channel and you don't know who I am, my name is Mckensy Long. I've been an entrepreneur and in the financial field for almost a decade, and I've educated thousands of clients and students, and I've helped hundreds of agents. And today, something that's changed tremendously is actually life insurance. In that life insurance used to just be if you died, but now the vast majority of uses for life insurance is while you're alive. And much like you can see here, is that the vast majority of people don't even use their cell phone anymore to make phone calls. They use it for almost everything else. And so if you can understand the transition of what's happened there, you'll understand, or you have a chance to understand, what has happened to life insurance as well. And there are three main uses of life insurance outside of the death benefit. The first one is going to be helping you build cash value, meaning to supplement your retirement, you can use a life insurance policy to build cash value inside of it. And where this becomes really important is if you're in a higher income tax bracket to where you're not able to use a Roth IRA, meaning you make too much money. And so for a single person, it's a little bit under $150,000. For a married person, it's a little bit over $250,000. So depending on where you're at financially, it might make sense to use life insurance for the tax benefits inside of it. And there are 4 keys of things that are important inside of a life insurance policy that we would use it for an investment or to build cash value. The first is going to be that you can still get a great rate of return. Some of these companies even have uncapped rates of return. Second is you're going to be able to mitigate your risk, and that you can protect from the downside so you don't have the loss, and you can still get upside potential. And 3 and possibly 4, they're both about taxes, but it can grow tax-free and then come out tax-free when you use it correctly. Those are some major benefits to be able to use life insurance while you're still alive. But something else that could happen is, what if you live long, but you happen to get sick? Well, then you can use what's called long-term care. So the challenge with long-term care is that you can either get a standalone policy. The challenge with that is that they're pretty expensive. And if you're part of the 30% who don't need long-term care, basically you've dumped all of that money into a long-term care policy that you'll never actually get to use. Whereas if you add it to as a rider on a permanent life insurance policy, it costs very little. And worst case scenario is that you're still going to end up inside of our life insurance policy anyway. And the reason why this needs to be taken into consideration is the average person spends about 2.5 years in a long-term care facility or with long-term care needs, and the average cost is about $100,000 per year. That means you'd need to save an extra $250,000 just to take care of an issue if you happen to need long-term care, and 70% of us will. And finally, well, maybe you don't necessarily need long-term care, but you're like a lot of Americans that have issues with cancer or stroke or a heart attack. Well, you can also use the critical illness provision of the living benefits inside of your life insurance policy to use the death benefit as a living benefit in case you were to get sick. And the reason why this can be really, really important is because the vast majority of people, if they have a long-term care issue, or if they have a critical illness, heart attack, stroke, those kinds of things, they end up pulling the money from their retirement account so that they can live, but now they're living broke. And most bankruptcies happen because of health issues. So those are some of the main reasons to use life insurance while you're alive instead of waiting just for the death benefit. So I think that almost everybody needs to consider having it added to their portfolio if they don't already. And if you do, have it evaluated to make sure that you actually have long-term care and critical illness inside of your permanent insurance policy. And before you go, don't forget to smash the like button and also hit the subscribe as well. And don't forget to hit the little bell, that way you can stay tuned as we have additional content coming out. That if you want to do better in your life, especially financially, you're going to want to make sure that you click click that button. And down below there are some resources as well, if you haven't noticed, where maybe you want to get a book about financial literacy or have a call and kind of go through some of the things that you're going through. You can find that down below. Maybe you want additional information. You can even download one of the chapters from the book down below that, get some of the resources in your email. All you have to do is subscribe to those and you will be added to the community that's getting that information as well. And as always, I hope you have a great day and I'll catch you later. Bye.